Sherry Hansen here. As I was sitting in meditation today, I got this message that I needed to share with you the information that I have gathered in my life that might help you to step forward with a little bit more confidence. And the message came to me about the 3 pathways of grief. We're not taught how to handle grief in our culture. It's something that is left, it's kind of like when women used to have their menses and you just put them away so nobody looks at it. We do that with grief, go into the tent, disappear. And so one of the things that happens, which is so amazingly toxic, is we are taught to bury our grief. So something happens to us, and we're sitting there with this event, with this knife cutting into our lives, and we ask the question, how do I handle this? And the first thing that we're taught is just bury it someplace. Go put it in a cave, put a bunch of rocks in front of the door, and never look at it again. The difficulty with that is unprocessed grief ends up running our whole lives. Every single time we come across something that has a pattern that is similar to the pattern of the affliction or the loss that we suffered in the past, we'll have a big emotional spike. And, we ask the question, why do I keep hurting? So this is the one path that we have been sold the bill of goods about. Bury it, numb out, and forget it. Now, the reason we do that is because we see so many people taking the second path, which is very excruciating to watch. And that is, they get into feeling this particular event or this particular sadness, and they make a martyr of themselves. They go like, oh yes, of course I got a flat tire. I also had this, and I had this, and I had this, and I had this, and I suffer. Oh my God, I suffer so much. So, what's we're taught in our society is you either bury it and you're stoic and it runs your life, or you run it into a narrative. So when I'm coaching people, I always tell them, pay attention to when you're running it into a narrative. So let me take a very benign example. Sometimes in the past, I got paper cuts. I'm sharing this with you. Don't tell anybody. So I would have a paper cut, and then I would find myself standing with a group of people saying, oh, I can handle glass or wood, but paper is vicious. I get paper. Look. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm making up a story of what a victim I am. So this is the way we see a lot of people handling things that happen in their lives. The problem with it is, it frightens your cells. The cells in your body are listening to this horrible story about what a victim you are and how unable you are to heal, to get over things. And so what you do is you're constantly weakening yourself with the story. So the third way is a very interesting way that you can teach yourself. The third way is to let it come up. So as I'm watching a movie or a commercial, or I see people walking past my house, there will be an arising of some lack story from my past. And I let it arise. And it is the same way I would look at a weed in my garden. I'm not going to say, oh my God, my entire garden is going to be overrun by weeds. They're going to grow in my windows and suffocate me while I'm sleeping. I simply sit with the thought, this is leftover sadness. This is a story from my childhood. This is a moment when I felt frightened, unprotected, like I had no control. And I let it arise. So you see that sadness, but you stop yourself from spinning it into a tapestry that you hang on an old tapestry back here of the horribleness of what happened in this event. So we have three paths as we deal with the fact that we're human and that we have gone through sadnesses and grief. One is to bury it, and if we do that, it's going to run our entire lives. That buried, unlooked at wounding and sadness will then take over your entire life. The second way is to put it out into the world and magnify it so that other people can kiss your boo-boo. Because what we do in our society is we gather around people with victim stories and we give them tons of attention. We don't help them. We just like, oh, you poor thing. And then we get into competition. Well, you got a paper cut. I lost my arm. And this doesn't get any of us anywhere when we're starting to take the wound or the event and spin it and make everything around us about it. If my father hadn't hit me when I was 3, I would have a better paying job. So there. And we can see the absurdity in that if we just remove the emotional scaffolding that we put up in our society. So the third way is the hard way. It's the difficult way. And that is, there is something that is arising in me right now. It's a grief, it's a pain, it's leftover sadness. And as Thich Nhat Hanh says, I love him so much, I sit with it and I hold it and I cry. But I cry not so that I can create an opera of destruction, but I cry so that I can cleanse it. So I just wanted to share that with you today. This is a subtlety which makes all the difference in how you are healing the assaults of being a human being in a human body with human parents and people around you that you love that are mortal. So I hope that helps. Do come on to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Last Thursday I didn't do a breathing for grounding because it was Christmassy, but I will this week. So come join me for a 20-minute grounding, calming, and coming into your body meditation. Thank you.